She was just a poor housekeeper, but when she saw that 9-year-old boy pointing at her among the 5 rich women and shouting, "I choose her as my mother," she understood that sometimes a child's heart sees what adults are incapable of seeing. "Gabriel, come here right now." Richard Harrington stood in the courtyard of the mansion and decided he could not wait any longer. 2 years without Marianne were too much. That 9-year-old boy needed a mother, and he would solve the problem today. Gabriel was playing alone by the swimming pool, stacking pebbles into little towers as he always did when he wanted to become invisible. Ever since his mother had died suddenly, the boy wandered through the house like a ghost. "What is it, Dad?" The child approached slowly. His green eyes were identical to Marianne's. Richard felt his heart tighten, but he pushed the thought away immediately. They could not live like this forever. "Son, you know I love you, right?" Gabriel only nodded. Lately he spoke little and smiled even less. "Your mom always wanted us to be happy, even after she could no longer be with us." "I know. That is why I have made an important decision. You are going to have a new mom." Gabriel stopped arranging the pebbles. "How?" "I have chosen 5 wonderful women. Today you will meet them all, and you will tell me which one you want to be your new mom." The boy's face turned white. "They are coming today." Gabriel leaped to his feet, scattering the pebbles across the ground. "I do not want to meet anyone." "Of course you do. They are beautiful, rich, and well-educated women. One of them will take wonderful care of you." "I do not need anyone to take care of me." Richard felt irritation rising. At work everyone obeyed instantly his own son would do the same. "Gabriel, stop this tantrum. You have not even seen them." "I do not want to see them. I do not want a new mom." It is not about what you want or do not want. It is necessary. This house needs a woman. You need a mother. "I already had a mother." Gabriel shouted with such fury that he frightened his own father. "She died, remember? Or have you already forgotten?" The words cut Richard like a blade. Of course he had not forgotten his wife, but life continued. "Gabriel, life continues for you, for me. It stopped the day she left." The boy headed toward the back of the courtyard where the bushes and trees grew. Richard grabbed his arm. "You are not going anywhere. You will stay here and meet these women." "Let me go." Gabriel tried to pull free. "I can. I am your father." A real father would not force his son to choose a fake mother. Richard felt as if he had been punched in the stomach. Gabriel broke free and ran toward the back of the courtyard, disappearing among the bushes. At that moment Richard heard the sound of expensive cars approaching. It was them, the 5 candidates. And Gabriel had vanished. Elaine was cleaning the windows of the living room when she saw the parade of luxury cars stopping in front of the house. A black Mercedes, a silver Audi, as if they had stepped out of the pages of a magazine. Carla, the head housekeeper, came running. "The master said to tell you. Today you stay only in the service area. Do not appear in the main house. Do not walk through the rooms." "Why? What guests?" Carla lowered her voice. "He brought some women so Gabriel can meet them. He wants to choose a new wife." Elaine felt her heart shrink. In the 6 months she had been working in that house, she had grown deeply fond of that sad boy who lived lost in the enormous mansion full of people but empty of love. Gabriel always sought her out when his father was not nearby. Elaine always found time to listen to the crazy stories he invented. How did Gabriel react? Badly. He ran away to the courtyard and does not want to come back. The master is desperate. Elaine looked out the window and saw 5 women stepping out of the cars, all too perfect to be real. High heels, designer clothes, salon hairdos, like expensive dolls. Poor Gabriel. "Elaine, do not get involved. The master is already very nervous. If he finds out you are talking with the boy, he will fire you." But Elaine could not stop thinking about Gabriel. Where was he? There in the courtyard, crying? At 9 years old, the child had already lost his mother, and now they wanted to force him to choose a replacement as if choosing an ice cream flavor. Through the kitchen window she saw Richard receiving the 5 women at the entrance. All smiling, all with the same calculating look. All of them had set their eyes on the richest widower in the city. But where was Gabriel? "Carla, I am just going to take a quick look at the courtyard to check the flowers or the plants." "Elaine, do not go. Stay here." But she was already slipping out the back door. Something inside her told her that Gabriel needed help. The courtyard of the mansion was enormous. A swimming pool area, a large lawn, and at the back a section with trees and a little bridge over a stream. Exactly there she found Gabriel. The boy was sitting hunched under the bridge, hugging his knees with his head hidden. He was not crying, but Elaine could feel his sadness like a heavy cloud in the air. "Gabriel, are you all right, sweetheart?" He lifted his head. Startled when he saw it was Elaine, he relaxed a little. "Aunt Elaine, I do not want to go back to the house." Elaine sat beside him on the grass, not caring that she dirted her uniform. "What happened?" "Dad wants me to choose a new mom from 5 women I do not even know." The boy's voice was filled with a sadness that did not belong to his age. Elaine also wanted to cry with him. "And you do not want a new mom?" "I already had one, Aunt Elaine. She was called Marianne and she loved me for real. These women do not love me, they do not even know me." "How are you so sure?" "Because they are here for Dad's money. My real mom loved me even before I was born. She loved me when I cried, when I was sick, she loved me always." Elaine had to hold back her tears. At 9 years old, Gabriel understood things many adults preferred not to see. Your dad must be suffering too. Sometimes adults do foolish things when their hearts hurt. He already forgot Mom. He took all her photos out of the house and now he wants to force me to call a stranger Mom. He took all the photos, Gabriel said. He said it was time to move on. But I do not want to move on without my mom. Elaine took the boy's cold hand. "May I tell you a secret, sweetheart?" "Yes. Your mom never really left. She is still here, in your heart, in your memories, in the kindness you have. You are just like her." Gabriel looked straight into her eyes. "Aunt Elaine, every night I talk with Mom before I sleep. I tell her how my day went. I ask her how she is. Do you know what she told me yesterday?" "What?" "When the moment comes to choose someone to take care of me, my heart will tell me. Dad does not need to order it." Elaine felt goosebumps. "And what does your heart tell you, Gabriel?" The boy looked at her for several seconds. "It says that you are the only person in this house who really needs me." At that moment Richard's voice echoed across the courtyard. "Gabriel, where are you? Come here right now." The boy shrank further. "He is going to force me to choose." The voice came closer and grew angrier. Elaine made a decision that would change her life forever. "Stay here. I will talk with your dad." "No, Aunt Elaine. He will fire you." "He will not. I will not let anyone hurt you. I promise." Elaine stood up, brushed the dirt from her uniform, and walked toward Richard. She found him beside the swimming pool, red with rage, the 5 women beside him watching everything. "Mr. Richard. Elaine. What the devil are you doing here? I ordered you to stay in the kitchen. Gabriel is hiding in the courtyard. He does not want to meet these ladies." "Where?" Richard took a step toward her, trying to intimidate her. "He is frightened, sir. He is a 9-year-old boy who still misses his mom." One of the women, a brunette in a blue dress, laughed. What a drama. Just the usual tantrum of a spoiled child. Elaine turned toward the woman with a coldness that surprised even her. "Do you have children?" "No." "Then do not speak about what you do not understand." Richard turned purple with fury. "Elaine, how dare you speak to my guests like that? I am only protecting Gabriel. He is a boy who needs affection, not pressure. He needs to learn that I am his father and he must obey. He needs love and family. Richard, they need obedience, with a firm hand." A heavy silence fell over the courtyard. The 5 women watched the argument like spectators at a soap opera. The maid arguing with the millionaire master in front of them. "You are fired," Richard hissed between his teeth. "No." Gabriel's voice cut through the air. Everyone turned. The boy had come out of his hiding place and was running toward them, his face red with tears. "Do not fire Aunt Elaine. She is the only one in this house who understands me." He stopped in front of Elaine and clung to the edge of her uniform like a small child seeking protection. "Gabriel, come here right now," Richard ordered. "No. I am staying with Aunt Elaine." One of the women, the brunette in the red dress, whispered to the others, "What an awkward situation. The boy is completely rude." Gabriel heard her and turned toward her with a fury that left everyone stunned. "You know nothing about me. You are here only because you want my dad's money. Gabriel shouted, but the boy kept pointing at Elaine. If I have to choose, I have already chosen. I choose Aunt Elaine as my new mom. A deadly silence fell over the courtyard. The 5 candidates stood with their mouths open. Richard turned white as paper. Elaine felt the ground disappear beneath her feet. And Gabriel kept shouting at the top of his lungs, I want her. She really cares about me. If you need a choice, here it is. I choose Elaine. Have you completely lost your mind? Gabriel? Richard was red with rage. The 5 women remained with their mouths open, unable to believe that a 9-year-old boy had chosen the housekeeper instead of them. I have lost nothing, Gabriel answered, still clinging to the edge of Elaine's uniform. I know exactly what I am saying. The brunette in the blue dress laughed nervously. Richard, this is clearly a childish whim. The boy is confused. I am not confused. Gabriel turned toward her with eyes burning with anger. You are the ones who do not understand anything. Gabriel, are you going to stop this right now? Richard roared. Apologize to the ladies and come here. I will not apologize to people who do not deserve it. Elaine tried to calm the boy. Sweetheart, be quiet. Richard exploded. Not one more word from you. You are fired, and that is final. No. Gabriel shouted so loudly that the neighbors probably heard it. If she goes, I go with her. The woman in the yellow dress whispered to the others, what an awkward situation. I think we had better leave. No, please. Richard tried to save the situation. The boy is only nervous. Let us go inside, have coffee, talk calmly. But Gabriel was not calm at all. He let go of Elaine's uniform and walked straight toward the 5 women. Do you want to know why I do not choose any of you? Richard tried to interrupt, but the woman in the red dress said with curiosity, let the boy speak. Gabriel took a deep breath. Because you do not even know my name correctly. You do not know what food I like. You do not know that I have nightmares every night. You only know that my dad is rich. The blonde in the green dress crossed her arms. Of course we do not know yet. We have just met. Exactly. You want to marry my dad without even knowing me. But Aunt Elaine has known me for 6 months. She knows I like stacking pebbles. She knows I am afraid of the dark. She knows I talk with my mom every night. Elaine felt her heart shrink. That boy was defending her with all his strength. This is ridiculous, said the brunette in the blue dress. A servant has no possibility of raising a child from a rich family. She does not even have the proper education. And do you have a heart? Gabriel replied. Education I can get anywhere, but a good heart like Aunt Elaine's is hard to find. The woman found no answer. Richard had completely lost control. Enough. Gabriel. Go to your room. Elaine, pack your things and get out of my house. No. Gabriel stepped between them. She is not going. You are going to your room and you are not coming out. I am not going. Richard grabbed Gabriel by the arm and began dragging him toward the house. The boy struggled, cried, shouted for help. Let me go. I want Aunt Elaine. Forget that woman. She manipulated you. Elaine stood not knowing what to do. She wanted to help Gabriel, but if she intervened it would only make things worse. Mr. Richard. A shout came from one side. Everyone turned. It was Carla, the head housekeeper, running toward them. What is happening here? I heard screams from the kitchen. Carla, take this woman to pack her things so that in 10 minutes she is not in my house. Carla looked at Elaine, then at Gabriel struggling in his father's arms, then at Richard who was beside himself with rage. Sir, what did Elaine do? She poisoned my son's head. She made him fond of her to create all this chaos. That is not true, Elaine managed to say at last. I only took care of Gabriel when he needed it. Lies. Richard roared. Gabriel took advantage of the moment, broke free, ran to Elaine, and hugged her around the waist. Aunt Elaine, please do not leave me. Elaine hugged the boy, feeling him tremble with sobs. Gabriel cried non-stop. He trembled and could not breathe properly. Gabriel, breathe with me, slowly. Inhale, exhale. I cannot. Carla became worried. Sir, he is having a panic attack. A panic attack? He is 9 years old. Children can have them too, sir, especially those who have suffered a loss. Richard looked at his son turning blue from crying, covered in cold sweat, trembling in Elaine's arms, and for the first time felt real fear. He tried to approach. No. The boy shouted. You are going to throw her out. You do not care about anything. You only care about work. The accusation hit home, but his pride was too wounded to admit it. Carla, call the doctor, Richard ordered. He does not need a doctor, Elaine said gently, without stopping hugging Gabriel. He only needs to calm down. Gabriel, listen to Aunt Elaine. You are safe. No one is going to hurt you. Little by little Gabriel stopped trembling. His breathing returned to normal, but he did not let go of Elaine. It is all better now. We are fine, Elaine whispered. Richard watched the scene. In 6 months he had never seen a fit like this from his son, and he had never seen Elaine calm him so perfectly. Wounded pride prevailed. Carla, take Elaine to pack her things. In 1 hour she must not be in this house. Gabriel lifted his head from Elaine's arms. If she leaves, I leave with her. You are not going anywhere. Then I will run away. If you run away, I will call the police. Gabriel looked at his father with a sadness so great that Elaine's heart broke. Do you really hate me, Dad? I hate you. You have hated me since Mom died. That is why you work all the time. That is why you want to give me some woman. That is why you took Mom's photos out of the house. Richard found no words. Gabriel turned toward Elaine. Aunt Elaine, thank you for taking care of me. I will never forget it. And he entered the house, walking slowly like a tired old man. Elaine remained standing in the courtyard with her heart broken, watching the 9-year-old boy carry a pain that did not fit in his small chest. Carla, help her pack her things, Richard said in a hoarse voice, and he entered the house, leaving Elaine alone in the courtyard where 1 hour earlier Gabriel had chosen her as his mother. Now she was fired, humiliated, and had lost forever the boy she had learned to love as a son. 3 days passed since Elaine left. 3 days that for Gabriel felt like 3 years. The boy did not leave his room, spoke to no one, barely touched his food. Carla brought trays and took them away full. Sir, Gabriel eats nothing, she said on the 2nd day. He will eat when he is hungry, Richard answered without looking up from the computer. He has not said a word in 2 days. It will pass. It is a whim. But Carla knew it was not a whim. The boy was fading, he was wasting away with longing. Richard pretended not to notice. On the morning of the 3rd day, the telephone rang. It was Veronica Adams, the brunette in the blue dress. Richard, darling, how are you? Hello, Veronica. Fine. I have thought a lot about what happened at your house. What a horrible situation, right? Richard sighed. It really was uncomfortable. Forgive me, darling. It is not your fault. It was all that manipulative maid's fault. In what sense? Richard, it is obvious she planned everything during 6 months. She was brainwashing the boy, pretending to be a poor unfortunate, winning the child's trust. All calculated. Richard stopped typing. You think so? I am sure. A poor woman sees a rich widower with a small son and immediately understands what opportunities she has in front of her. I bet she set her sights on you from the first day. She was always very dedicated to her work. Of course, that was part of the plan. Richard, you are an intelligent man in business, but sometimes too naive with people. Veronica's words found a place in Richard's confused head. Maybe she was right. Maybe Elaine really had manipulated Gabriel. You know what I think. Veronica continued. You should give us a second chance without that woman who sows discord. I am sure Gabriel will accept us better. I do not know, Veronica. He has not spoken for 3 days. Exactly. He misses the manipulation. When he understands that woman is not coming back, he will need someone to fill the emptiness. That is when we will appear. It sounded logical. At least in Richard's head it made sense. All right. Come on Saturday afternoon. Excellent, darling. And this time be firmer with Gabriel. The boy needs limits. If he throws a tantrum, show him who is in charge. When he hung up, Richard felt more confident. Maybe Veronica was right. Maybe Elaine really had manipulated the boy. Now he had to fix the situation. Meanwhile, In the small service room she had rented in a cheap boarding house, Elaine could not stop thinking about Gabriel. If he had nightmares, who comforted him when he woke up crying? She had tried to call Carla several times, but the house telephone did not answer, or Richard had forbidden the staff to speak with her. On Thursday night, returning from the supermarket, she saw Carla at the bus stop. Carla ran toward the housekeeper. "Elaine, you scared me." Carla looked nervously around. "I cannot talk with you. If the master finds out, how is Gabriel?" Carla lowered her voice. "Bad. Very bad. He does not eat, does not speak, does not leave his room. He is wasting away before our eyes." Elaine felt her heart shrink. "And Mr. Richard acts as if he does not see it. He says it is a whim, but I know it is not. Elaine, the boy is really suffering. I need to do something. You cannot. He forbade you to approach the house. If they find out you came here, they will fire me too." The bus arrived. Carla climbed aboard quickly but shouted from the window, "Those women are coming back on Saturday." Elaine remained frozen on the sidewalk, absorbing what she had heard. The 5 candidates were returning, and Gabriel was weak, without strength to defend himself. It would be a real massacre. Saturday arrived. The 5 women appeared at Richard's house exactly at 3 in the afternoon. This time they came better prepared. During the week they had spoken among themselves and worked out a strategy. "Richard, darling," Veronica said on arrival, "we brought gifts for Gabriel to break the ice." "What a great idea. And we talked a lot about the situation. We understand the boy was a victim of manipulation. Today we will not demand anything." Richard led them to the living room. Gabriel did not come down. Carla went up for him 3 times until finally he appeared at the top of the staircase. If Elaine had seen him, she would have been horrified. In 3 days the boy had lost weight. He was pale with deep circles under his eyes. He looked ill. "Gabriel, come here, son. The aunts came to visit you." The boy came down slowly, dragging his feet. He sat in a distant chair with his head lowered, greeting no one. "Hello, Gabriel," Veronica began in a too sweet voice. "We brought you gifts." Gabriel raised his gaze and said nothing. "Look," said the blonde in the green dress, now wearing blue. She showed a large box. A brand new game console. Gabriel looked at the box without interest. "I brought this," said the brunette in the red dress, now wearing pink. She showed an expensive bicycle so he could ride around the courtyard. "I brought nice clothes," said another blonde, now wearing white. She showed bags from expensive stores. "And I brought educational books," said the last one in a lilac dress. She placed the books on the table. Gabriel looked at everything in silence, then stood up and spoke the first words in 3 days. "Where is Aunt Elaine?" Silence filled the room. "Gabriel," Richard said in a hard voice, "forget that woman. She is not coming back." "Why? Was she bad for you?" "No. She was not." Richard exploded. "She manipulated you. She made you fond of her to create problems." Gabriel looked at his father with eyes full of tears. "That is not true." "It is. Now you are going to get to know these ladies well. One of them will be your new mom." "I do not want any of them." Veronica leaned toward Gabriel. "Sweetheart, I know you are confused. That woman made you believe lies about us." "What lies?" "That you only want my dad's money? That you love me? That is not true. Gabriel really wants to be your family." Gabriel looked with an expression that did not belong to his 9 years. "If you love me so much, why did no one ask how I feel?" The question left everyone disconcerted. "What do you mean, sweetheart?" "For 3 days I have not eaten well. For 3 days I have not slept. Did you know that?" The women looked at one another, not knowing what to say. "Do you know that I cry every night? That I have nightmares? That I miss my mom every day?" Gabriel tried to interrupt Richard. "Do you know that Aunt Elaine was the only person in this house who asked me how I felt when I woke up sad? The only one who listened when I wanted to talk about Mom." The 5 women felt uncomfortable. They had not expected a conversation like this. "Gabriel, can we learn to take care of you?" The blonde in the blue dress began. "Learn?" Gabriel stood up from the chair. "You want to learn to love me?" Aunt Elaine did not need to learn. She loved me from the first day. That is because she was interested in your father. Veronica said without thinking. Lies. Gabriel shouted. Aunt Elaine never tried to win my dad. She only took care of me when I needed it. Richard also stood up. Gabriel, enough. I am not going to stop. You threw out the only person who cared about me, and now you want me to pretend I like them. The woman in the pink dress became irritated. Listen, Richard, this boy is impossible. He needs serious discipline. You are right, Richard nodded. Gabriel, go to your room right now. I am going, and I am not coming down again. Gabriel ran upstairs. A moment later, everyone heard the door slam shut hard. Richard, Veronica said, you have to be stricter with him. A child cannot rule the house. I know. Forgive me. Do not apologize, said the blonde in the blue dress. The fault lies with that manipulative maid. But with time and firmness you will fix it. And meanwhile she looked at the one in the pink dress. Maybe you can choose one of us. You do not have to ask Gabriel. You are the father. You decide. Richard looked at the 5 women, all beautiful, all rich, all willing to marry him. That was exactly what he had wanted 3 days earlier. Then why did he feel such emptiness? I will think about it, he said. I need time. When they left, Richard went up to Gabriel's room. He knocked on the door. There was no answer. He turned the handle. The door was locked. Gabriel, open the door. Silence. Gabriel, anything. Richard remained in the hallway, understanding for the first time that maybe he had made a terrible mistake, but pride did not allow him to admit it. On the other side of the door, Gabriel was lying on the bed curled up, hugging the teddy bear his mother had given him on his last birthday. He cried in silence so no one would hear him. Mommy, he whispered to the teddy bear. Aunt Elaine left. Dad threw her out. Now I am alone again. The teddy bear did not answer, but Gabriel pretended it did. I know you do not like it when I am sad, but I cannot stop. I love Aunt Elaine very much, and now she cannot take care of me anymore. Gabriel closed his eyes and tried to sleep, but he knew the nightmares would return, and this time there would be no one to comfort him. Downstairs, Richard sat in the library trying to work, but he could not concentrate. Gabriel's words echoed in his head. You want to learn to love me? A simple question that touched something very deep. Had Elaine really manipulated Gabriel, or had she really cared for the boy? And, most important, had Richard been a terrible father during those 2 years? Those questions were too difficult to answer. It was easier to blame Elaine for everything and continue with the original plan. After all, he was a businessman. In business, once you make a decision, there is no turning back, even if that decision destroys your own son. 1 week after the visit of the 5 women, Gabriel grew much worse. Carla went up to bring breakfast and found the boy unconscious in the bathroom. Mr. Richard. She screamed desperately. Come quickly. Richard left everything and ran upstairs. Seeing Gabriel on the floor, pale and unconscious, his vision blurred. What happened? I do not know. I came to bring breakfast and found him like this. Richard took his son in his arms. Gabriel was too light, too hot. Call the doctor immediately. Dr. Henry arrived in 20 minutes and examined Gabriel in bed. The boy woke up but was weak, apathetic, without desire to speak. Richard, I need to talk with you, the doctor said after the examination. They went down to the library. What is wrong with him, doctor? Physically, exhaustion, dehydration, overexertion. But the problem is not physical. In what sense? Your son has severe childhood depression. He is letting himself die of longing. Richard felt as if he had been punched in the stomach. Depression. He is only 9 years old. Children fall into depression too, especially when they suffer important losses. But I am not speaking only of his mother. I am speaking of recent losses. Carla told me you had an employee who took very good care of him. Richard tensed. Elaine. But she left because she manipulated the boy. Dr. Henry looked at him seriously. Richard, I have known you since Gabriel was born. May I tell you the truth? Of course. Did that woman manipulate the boy, or could you simply not accept that someone could take care of your son better than you? The question hit Richard like a shot. In what sense? In 2 years, how many times did you go up to Gabriel's room when he cried? I work a lot, doctor. Carla told me Elaine went up every time she heard his nightmares, knew his habits, his fears. Was that manipulation or care? Richard kept silent. And one more thing. Carla said the 5 candidates came back. How did Gabriel react? Badly. He said he did not want any of them, and you decided it was a tantrum. Dr. Henry shook his head. Richard, your son is literally dying of longing. If you do not do something urgent, there can be serious complications. What kind of complications? Hospitalization, tube feeding, intensive psychiatric supervision. Richard turned pale. So serious? Yes. And the solution is not medicine. The solution is to give this boy back what he needs most, the person he needs most, not for money, not for benefit, but for love. When the doctor left, Richard remained alone in the library absorbing everything he had heard. He went up to see Gabriel, who was sleeping but even in dreams seemed to suffer. At that moment the telephone rang. It was Veronica. Richard, darling, how are you? Not very well, Veronica. Something happened. Gabriel lost consciousness this morning. Oh my God, poor thing. The girls and I were talking about you. We want to help. We thought of something. What if one of us stays at your house for a few days to take care of Gabriel and help him get used to our presence? Richard hesitated. I do not know if that is a good idea. Richard, the boy needs a mother figure, and we are here willing to help. Just choose one of us. Give me time to think. There is nothing to think about. I am coming tonight. I will take care of Gabriel until he gets better. And she hung up before Richard could object. At 8 in the evening Veronica arrived with 2 suitcases. I have come for a few days. Where is the guest room? Carla showed her the room and helped with the suitcases, but she was worried. She had known Gabriel for many years and understood that Veronica's presence would only make everything worse. Mr. Richard, are you sure this is a good idea? Carla, Gabriel needs a mother. Veronica offered to help. But Gabriel does not want her. He will learn to want her. There is no other way. Veronica came down to dinner as if she were already the owner of the house. She wore an expensive silk dress and flirted openly with Richard. Gabriel is not dining with us? She asked. He has had no appetite for several days, Richard explained. Leave him to me. I will go up and talk with him. Veronica is very weak, that is why he needs firmness. A child cannot rule the house. Veronica went up to Gabriel's room against Richard's wishes. She knocked on the door and entered without waiting for an answer. Gabriel was lying on the bed hugging his teddy bear and staring at the ceiling. Hello, Gabriel. I came to visit you. The boy looked at her and said nothing. I heard you are not eating well. That is not good. You know silence. Gabriel, I am talking to you. It is bad manners not to answer when an adult speaks to you. I did not ask you to come up, Gabriel said in a low voice. It does not matter. I came because I care about you. Gabriel looked at her with a tired gaze. You care about me? Of course I do. Why? The question caught Veronica off guard. What do you mean, why? Why do you care? What do you know about me? I know you are an intelligent boy. Anyone can see that. What else? Veronica had no answer. Gabriel continued. Do you know what my favorite color is? Do you know what food I would never eat? Do you know why I have nightmares? Do you know what my mom's voice sounded like? Gabriel, those things are learned with time. Auntie Elaine knew everything. After 1 week of working here, she already knew everything. Forget that woman. She was bad for you. Gabriel sat up in bed, irritated for the first time in several days. How can you say she was bad if you did not even know her? I know women like you, poor women who take advantage of rich families. Auntie Elaine never took advantage of anything. She took care of me because she loved me. She wanted your father's money. Gabriel stood up, trembling with anger. You are a liar. Gabriel. Veronica also stood up. Do not dare speak to me like that. I dare. You do not know Auntie Elaine. She is good. You only want my dad's money. You are a rude and spoiled child. Veronica, unable to contain herself, slapped Gabriel. The sound echoed in the room. Gabriel froze in surprise, pressing his hand against his reddened cheek. His eyes filled with tears of humiliation and pain. "You hit me," he whispered. Veronica realized what she had done and tried to fix it. "Gabriel, forgive me. I did not mean to. You made me angry but Gabriel was already running out of the room shouting, "Dad! Dad!" Richard was finishing dinner when he heard his son shout. Gabriel ran down the stairs and threw himself into his arms, sobbing. "She hit me, Dad. That woman hit me." Richard looked at Veronica, who had come down behind Gabriel with a guilty face. "Veronica, is it true?" "Richard, it was an accident. The boy spoke rudely to me. He said horrible things. You hit my son?" "It was only a light slap. He was rude." Richard felt a rage he had never felt in his life. "How dare you raise your hand against my son?" "Richard, calm down. You hit Gabriel." Gabriel clung to his father, crying. The mark of the hand was still red on his face. "Get out of my house," Richard said with a coldness that frightened even himself. "Now. Richard, let us talk." "There is nothing to talk about. Pack your things and leave." Veronica tried to protest, but Richard was beside himself. 15 minutes later she was on the street with her suitcases, calling a taxi. When they were alone, Richard took Gabriel to the living room and examined his face. "Does it hurt a lot?" Gabriel shook his head no, but he kept crying. "Why did she hit you?" "Because I was defending Aunt Elaine." Richard felt his heart shrink. "How did you defend her?" "She said Aunt Elaine only wanted money. I said that was a lie. Then she got angry and hit me." "Gabriel, are you sure Elaine really cared about you?" The boy looked at his father with red eyes full of tears. "I am sure, Dad. She was the only person who asked me if I was all right. The only one who listened when I wanted to talk about Mom. Why did you never tell me? Why did you never have time to listen?" That answer hurt more than any slap. Richard hugged his son, and for the first time in 2 years he really listened. "Son, forgive me. I was a terrible father." "You are not a terrible father, Dad. You were only suffering like me. And now we can help each other." "How?" "You will stop running away from me, and I will stop being afraid to talk with you." Richard hugged his son as he had not hugged him in 2 years. In that room something healed between them. Not everything, but enough to start again. "Dad," Gabriel said after a few minutes, "do you think Aunt Elaine will forgive me?" "Why would she not forgive you? You did nothing wrong. But she is surely hurt. You fired her. You said hurtful things to her." Richard sighed. "Yes, I did. I was very unfair. So you have to apologize sincerely." "I will." "And if she does not want to come back?" Gabriel grew sad. "Then we will have to accept it. But at least she will know how much we regret it." The next morning Richard showered, dressed, and asked Carla to prepare a special breakfast. He wanted to take something to Elaine as a sign of reconciliation. "Carla, do you think she will forgive me?" he asked while the housekeeper filled a basket with bread, pastries, and coffee. "It depends on how you speak to her," Carla answered. "She is a good person, but she has dignity. If you go there giving orders, she will not accept. But if you go asking for forgiveness, then maybe she will listen." Richard took the basket and went out to the car. Gabriel wanted to go with him, but he was still too weak to leave the house. "Bring her back, Dad. Please." "I will, son. I promise." The boarding house where Elaine lived was in the old part of the city centre, an ordinary building with peeling walls, nothing like the Harrington mansion. Richard parked at the entrance and remained several minutes gathering courage. He went up to the 3rd floor and knocked on the door of room 305. "Who is it?" Elaine's voice came from the other side. "It is me, Richard." Total silence. "Elaine, please. I need to talk with you." The door opened slowly. Elaine stood there in a simple dress, hair loose, without makeup, and yet she was beautiful. But what impressed Richard most was the expression on her face. It was not anger or resentment, it was a deep sadness. "What do you need?" she asked without opening the door completely. "I came to ask your forgiveness." Elaine was surprised. In the 6 months she had worked for Richard, she had never seen him ask forgiveness for anything. Forgiveness? For what? For everything. For firing you unjustly. For believing you manipulated Gabriel. For treating you badly. Elaine opened the door a little more but did not invite him in. What changed? Why are you coming now? Richard took a deep breath. To give Gabriel back what he needs most. What exactly? Richard looked straight into her eyes. Someone who really cares about him. Someone like you. Elaine lowered her gaze. Mr. Richard, and that is not all. Last night one of the candidates hit Gabriel. She hit him. Elaine lifted her head. She slapped him because he was defending you. Elaine's eyes filled with tears. She hit Gabriel because of me? Exactly. In that moment I understood how wrong I was, how blind, proud, and stupid I had been. Elaine opened the door completely. Come in. Let us talk. The room was small, simple but clean and tidy. A bed, a dresser, a little table. Richard felt uncomfortable seeing the conditions in which Elaine lived when she could have been in a comfortable house that he could have offered her. Elaine, I need to tell you something. Gabriel told me everything. How you took care of him when he had nightmares, how you listened when he talked about his mom, how you were the only person who really paid attention to him. Elaine sat on the bed, still absorbing the news of Gabriel's illness. I always knew he lacked attention. Any person with a drop of sensitivity would have noticed. But I did not notice because you were also suffering from your wife's death. It hurt you so much that you still have not been able to process it. Richard was surprised by her understanding. How do you know? Because I went through the same thing. I also lost a loved one. I know how pain can blind you to everything around you. And yet you took care of Gabriel because he needed it. And why? Elaine hesitated. And because what? Because I grew fond of him. In 6 months he became like a son to me. Richard felt his heart shrink. Elaine, I came to offer you to come back to work. As what? As whatever you want. Maid, housekeeper, nanny, family member. Whatever you decide. Elaine kept silent, thoughtful. Elaine, Gabriel is dying of longing for you, literally dying. He lost consciousness from weakness. He does not eat, does not speak, does not leave his room. You are the only person who can save him. You changed your opinion about me. Richard lowered his head, ashamed. I changed it. I understood that you never tried to manipulate me or Gabriel. You simply cared about him for real. All the candidates are gone forever. I understood that Gabriel was right. They only wanted my money. They were not my family. Elaine stood up and approached the small window. She remained looking at the busy street below. Mr. Richard, may I ask you some questions? Of course. If I come back, will you respect me as a person, not as a maid, but as someone who cares for Gabriel because she loves him? I will. Will you work less and spend more time with your son? I will. I already understood that Gabriel needs me as much as he needs you. And if in the future you meet another woman and want to marry, will you remember that Gabriel has his own opinion about it? Richard thought about the question. I will remember it. By the way, Elaine, yes, Gabriel said yesterday that you are the only person he wants to see as his mother. And seeing the two of you together, I understood that between you there is a real bond. Elaine turned toward him. What are you saying? Richard blushed. He had not planned this conversation, but the words came out on their own. I am saying that maybe Gabriel is right. Maybe you are exactly what our family needs. Mr. Richard, I am a maid. Elaine, as a real member of the family. Elaine remained without words. She had not expected it. I know it sounds crazy, Richard continued. 2 days ago I considered you a manipulator, and today I understand that you could be the answer to all our problems. What answer? Gabriel needs a mother who loves him for real. I need someone who helps me be a better father. And you need a family that values you. Elaine sat down on the bed again, stunned by the conversation. This is too fast, Mr. Richard. Too confusing. I know. I am not asking for an answer now. I am asking you to come back, to take care of Gabriel, to give us a chance to show you that we have changed. And if it does not work out, you can leave whenever you want with all the respect and compensation you deserve. Elaine remained silent for long minutes. Richard waited anxiously. All right, she said at last. I will come back. Richard felt enormous relief. Really? Really? But not for you, For Gabriel. If he is ill and needs me, that is the only thing that matters. I will not hurt you, Elaine. Elaine looked around the simple room where she had spent the 2 saddest weeks of her life. Yes. Give me 10 minutes to pack my things. 10 minutes later, she stood with a small suitcase in her hand, ready to return to the house she had never imagined she would miss so much. Elaine, Richard said as they went down the stairs, thank you. For what? For giving our family a second chance. Mr. Richard, may I be frank? Of course. I missed you both very much, especially Gabriel. Richard smiled for the first time in several weeks. Then let us go home. Let us take care of him. For the first time they left that building not as master and maid but as 2 people who wanted the same thing. To see Gabriel happy again. Gabriel was standing by the window of his room when he saw his father's car enter the garage. His heart beat faster. Was Elaine coming with him? Or was Richard returning alone with the news that she had not wanted to forgive? Carla ran upstairs. Gabriel, your dad arrived. He brought Aunt Elaine. Really? My life. They went down to see. Gabriel came down the stairs slowly, legs trembling with emotion. He stopped in the middle of the living room and waited. The front door opened. Richard entered alone. Gabriel's heart sank. How are you, Dad? He asked weakly. Fine. Elaine. At that moment Elaine entered and stopped when she saw Gabriel. Aunt Elaine. The boy ran toward her and threw himself into her arms. Elaine hugged him, unable to hold back her tears. You came back. Richard remained silent, watching their hug. He understood what an idiot he had been. The bond between them was real, pure, authentic. How could he have thought it was manipulation? Aunt Elaine, Gabriel said without letting go of her yet, now you stay forever. Elaine looked at Richard, who nodded, encouraging her. I will stay as long as you want me to stay. Then forever, because I will never want you to leave. Deal. Gabriel finally let go of Elaine and ran to his father. Thank you, Dad. Thank you for bringing her back. Richard hugged his son. Do not thank me. I should have done it sooner. The important thing is that now we are a family again. The word family echoed in the living room. Richard and Elaine looked at each other, remembering the conversation in the boarding house. Gabriel, Richard said, Aunt Elaine has just arrived. Maybe we should let her rest a little. I do not want to show her so many things. Aunt Elaine, let us go to my room. I have so much to tell you. Elaine laughed. All right, but only if you promise that afterward we will have lunch properly. I promise. Now that you are back, I will eat everything. The 3 of them went upstairs together. Gabriel did not stop talking. Elaine listened to every word as if it were the most important thing in the world. Richard stayed in the living room watching them go up. Carla approached. Mr. Richard, you did the right thing. I hope so, Carla. This house became a cemetery after Elaine left. And now life has returned. Carla, may I ask you something? Of course. Do you think Elaine can really become part of this family, not as a maid but as Gabriel's mother? Carla smiled. Sir, she already is Gabriel's mother. It only remains to make it official. And as for me, as your wife, that is your decision. But I can tell you something. Tell me. In 20 years working here, I have never seen you as human as today. Elaine will not only do Gabriel good, she will do you good too. In Gabriel's room, Elaine listened to a detailed account of everything that had happened in her absence. And then that woman slapped me in the face, Gabriel told indignantly. Oh my God. Did she really hit you? Yes. Look, there is still a mark. Gabriel showed her the cheek that still had a slight redness. Elaine touched his face carefully. Did it hurt a lot? It hurt, but what hurt most was that she said bad things about you. She said you only wanted Dad's money, and I defended you. I told her she was a liar, that you loved me for real. Elaine hugged Gabriel again. You are the bravest boy I know. Aunt Elaine, may I tell you a secret? You always can. When you left, every night I talked with Mom. How? Gabriel took the teddy bear his mother had given him. I talked with her through the teddy bear. I told her I was sad, that I missed you. And what did she answer? She said you would come back, that you loved me very much, and that you would never leave me. Elaine's eyes filled with tears. Your mom was right. I know. She always knows everything from heaven. Gabriel, may I ask you a question? Of course. How would you feel if I were not only your nanny or a maid in the house? How? Elaine chose her words carefully. How would you feel if I became a real member of the family? Gabriel's eyes opened wide. Like Dad's wife. Elaine blushed. Something like that. How would you feel? Gabriel thought for a few seconds. Aunt Elaine, I will always be completely honest. Since you appeared here, I have imagined how it would be if you were my mom for real. You imagine it? I imagine you saying good night to me every day, taking me to school, taking care of me when I am sick. I imagine we are a real family. And how do you feel when you imagine it? Gabriel smiled with the most beautiful smile Elaine had ever seen. Happiness. Enormous happiness. Then if someday that happens when it happens, Gabriel corrected. It will be the happiest day of my life. Elaine hugged the boy, moved. You are very special, Gabriel. You are special too, Aunt Elaine. That is why I chose you that day in the courtyard. Do you remember? I remember everything. You were frightened. I was frightened too. But my heart knew you were the right person. My heart knew it, as Mom always said. The heart never makes a mistake when it truly loves someone. Elaine was moved by the wisdom of that 9-year-old boy. Gabriel, now that I have come back, I need you to promise me one thing. What? That you will always talk with me when you are sad or frightened. That you will not keep everything inside. I promise. And you promise me that you will never leave again. I promise. No matter what happens, I will always be by your side, even if Dad argues with you, even if Dad argues with me, even if other women appear who want to marry him. Elaine laughed. Especially if other women appear. Gabriel also laughed. Aunt Elaine, yes, I love you. It was the first time Gabriel had said those words. She felt her heart explode with emotion. I love you too, Gabriel, very much. As if you were my own son. I love you as if you were my real son. Gabriel shone. Then you are already my mom in my heart. And you are already my son in my heart. They remained like that, hugging, sealing the love that had been born naturally and that nothing in the world could destroy. Downstairs, Richard was in the library when he heard laughter in Gabriel's room. For the first time in several months, he heard his son really laugh. He went up quietly and stopped at the half-open door, watching. Elaine and Gabriel were sitting on the bed looking at a photo album. Here is Mom when she was pregnant with me, Gabriel explained. How beautiful she is. You can see she was very happy. She was. Dad always says she was the happiest in the world when she knew I was going to be born. And here we are when I was born. Here we are, the three of us in the hospital. Look how frightened Dad is. Richard watched the scene and noticed what he had never noticed before. Elaine was not trying to replace Marianne. She honored her memory by helping Gabriel keep his mother's memories alive. Aunt Elaine, Gabriel said, when you marry Dad, you will be my second mom. Mom Marianne will still be my first mom. Exactly. No one will ever take your mom Marianne's place. I will be a new, different love. As Dad always says, in the heart there is room for great loves. Richard's eyes filled with tears. Elaine was teaching Gabriel what he himself had not been able to teach. That loving again does not mean betraying the one who left. He knocked on the door. May I come in? Dad, come see the photos with us. Richard sat on the bed beside them. For the first time in 2 years, he could look at Marianne's photos without feeling only pain. Look at this photo, Dad, Gabriel said, showing an image of Marianne pregnant. Aunt Elaine said Mom was very happy here. She was. She could not wait for you to be born. And this is my first birthday. It was a wonderful party. Your mom insisted on inviting all the children in the neighborhood. Elaine watched as father and son spoke about the past with naturalness, without pain, without guilt. That was exactly what Gabriel needed. Dad, Gabriel said after a while, may I ask you a question? Of course. Do you like Aunt Elaine? Richard looked at Elaine, who blushed. I like her very much, Gabriel. As a friend or as a mom? Gabriel's direct question left both adults speechless. Gabriel, that is a question Elaine began. It is an important question, Gabriel insisted. Because if you like each other you can date, then marry, and then we will be a real, complete family. Richard and Elaine looked at each other. Gabriel's simplicity made everything so easy. Gabriel, these things take time, Richard said carefully. How much time? I do not know. It depends on many things. Gabriel thought. Dad, may I give my opinion? Go ahead. You two already love each other. It shows in the way you look at each other, and we already live like a family. Why not make it official soon? Elaine laughed at the boy's simple logic. It is not that simple, Gabriel. Why not? Because your dad and I have not known each other for long. 6 months is not long. And besides, the most important thing is not time but whether we love each other for real. Richard was astonished by his son's wisdom. How do you know when people really love each other? It is easy. When they take care of each other, when they worry about each other, when they are happy together, exactly like you two. Richard and Elaine looked at each other again. Gabriel was right. Gabriel, Richard said, what if we let everything follow its course? All right. But I already give my approval for the wedding. The three of them laughed together. For the first time in 2 years that house knew true happiness. And now, Elaine said, what if we go down to have lunch? You promised you would eat properly. I will. Now that my family is together again, my appetite has returned. Gabriel jumped out of bed with an energy he had not shown in several weeks. He ran down the stairs shouting, Carla, I am hungry. Richard and Elaine remained alone in the room. Elaine, Richard said, thank you. For what? For giving me back my son and teaching me that one can love again without betraying those who left. Elaine smiled. Gabriel taught me that. Children have a wisdom we adults have lost. Elaine, what Gabriel said about our wedding, do you feel the same? Elaine took a deep breath, frightened, happy, confused, all at once. Why frightened? Because everything happened too fast. Yesterday I was your fired maid, today you treat me like your future wife. Why happy? Because I fell in love with both of you, with this family. Richard moved closer to her. Elaine, may I be sincere? Of course. I also fell in love. I do not know when, I do not know how, but I fell in love with the woman who brought happiness back to my son and taught me to be a father again. Elaine felt her heart beat faster. Elaine, I know it is soon. I know everything is complicated. But I cannot pretend I feel nothing. What do you feel? That you are exactly what Gabriel and I have always needed. That you did not appear here by chance. That maybe Marion sent you to take care of us. Elaine was moved by his words. Do you really believe that? I believe it. Gabriel chose you that day in the courtyard. Now I understand that my heart also chose you. Dad! Aunt Elaine! Gabriel shouted from below. The food is ready. They laughed. Let us go, Elaine said. Your son is hungry. Our son, Richard corrected. Elaine smiled. Our son. They went down together, holding hands for the first time. Gabriel saw them and began to applaud. I knew it. I knew you would be together. Carla came out of the kitchen smiling. What joy! This house needed love again. During lunch, Gabriel did not stop talking. He told Elaine about school, his friends, the plans for his next birthday. Elaine, will you be at my birthday? Of course I will. Will you help me organize the party? If you want. I want. Dad, will you help too? Richard smiled. Of course, son. Then this will be the first party we organize, the three of us together. After lunch, Gabriel wanted to show Elaine the courtyard as if she had never seen it. Look, Aunt Elaine, here is where I chose you that day. Do you really remember? Gabriel ran to a specific place beside the swimming pool. Here I was. You were there. I pointed at you and said I wanted you to be my mom. Richard watched the scene. Do you still want that? Of course, now even more. Elaine knelt to be at the same height as Gabriel. Gabriel, if someday I really become your official mom, promise me you will always remember Mom Marianne. I promise. She will be my mom in heaven, and you will be my mom who is here beside me. Your heart has room for both. Gabriel opened his arms. My heart is enormous. There is room for everyone I love. Richard hugged Elaine from behind. Then is it decided? What is decided? Gabriel asked with curiosity. Richard looked at Elaine, who felt she was smiling. That soon we will make our family official for real. Gabriel shouted and ran around the courtyard. Carla! Carla! Dad is marrying Aunt Elaine. Carla appeared at the kitchen door laughing. What a wonder, my boy. What a wonder. Gabriel ran back and hugged both of them at the same time. Now yes. Now we are a real, complete family. Richard looked at the blue afternoon sky. Marianne, our family is complete again. Thank you for sending us Elaine. Elaine also looked up. Thank you, Marianne. I will take very good care of your boy. Gabriel looked at the adults. She sees us, Mom? Yes, Richard said. I am sure she is happy up there in heaven. And in that same courtyard where everything had begun, a new family was formed. It did not replace what had been lost, it created something new and beautiful based on true love. 6 months later, in a simple but emotional ceremony right in the courtyard of the house, Richard and Elaine were married. Gabriel was the proudest page in the world, carrying the wedding rings with a smile that lit up the entire celebration. Now it is official, he said when the newlyweds kissed. I have the best family in the world. While the guests applauded, Elaine looked at the sky and whispered, Thank you, Marianne. I promise I will love you forever. The wind swayed the trees in the courtyard as if Marianne were giving her final blessing. The housekeeper chosen by a 9-year-old boy became not only wife and mother but the person who returned happiness to a broken family. And Gabriel grew up. In his life there were 2 especially important women. Marianne, whom he loved first and forever, and Elaine, who loved him when he needed it most. And no one else.